welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. My name is Lynn, and I pulled us a daily card. So the card that came out is Anima Mundi. So this is one of the most mystical cards in the Wild Unknown Archetypes deck. It means the soul of the world, okay? Anima Mundi is Latin for the soul of the world. So what that means is that all living things and even places, events, and nature itself are interconnected through one living consciousness. That's what it means. This card is asking you to remember something. It's telling you that you're not separate from life. You are life expressing itself. So you're being invited to trust your intuition more deeply. If you've come across this video, that's one of the messages with this card. It's to trust your intuition more deeply. Reconnect with your authentic nature and stop believing that you're alone or disconnected, okay? Your soul is connected to everyone and everything around you, okay? Know that life is communicating with you constantly through the birds, the trees, the people you meet, the opportunities that are arriving, even the difficult experiences. Nothing is random. So when this card shows up, it means that you're searching for meaning, you're trying to find your purpose, you're feeling disconnected, you're awakening spiritually, you're becoming more intuitive, and you're beginning to trust synchronicities. Again, this is a general reading, so just take what resonates, leave the rest. Stop looking only with your eyes. Start looking with your soul. Okay? Anima Mundi doesn't tell you to hustle harder. It doesn't tell you to force everything. It's saying trust the invisible, okay? Not everything important can be proven. Sometimes you just simply know, okay? Maybe you've been ignoring your gut feelings or your dreams, or you're ignoring repeating numbers or strange coincidences or unexpected encounters or recurring symbols. But this card is reminding you to pay attention because life is speaking to you. Make sure you slow down enough to hear your intuition. Because when we're constantly busy or distracted or anxious, then our intuition becomes quiet. We don't hear what our intuition is trying to tell us, okay? Spend some time outside in silence, journaling, meditating, creating, walking, because your soul speaks softly, not loud. And stop trying to control every outcome. This card has deep trust energy, okay? Know that there's a larger intelligence moving your life. You don't have to know every step. You just need to know the next one, okay? And again, remember, everything is connected. This is big. Everything is connected. Sometimes you might think this happened because you failed, but Anima Mundi is asking you, what's the larger story that's unfolding here, okay? For example, like maybe something ended in your life, but it was to make some space for something new. Maybe a delay protected you. Maybe a rejection redirected you, okay? This card is inviting you to look beyond immediate appearances. I always think this way, like for everything. If you know, uh, if I'm driving somewhere and then there's construction and now I have to take a detour, I believe in my soul it's God's protection. Every time something doesn't go as planned, I believe it's God's protection, okay? And if we look at the shadow side of this card, it could be saying that you may be feeling spiritually disconnected. Maybe you believe you're alone. Maybe you're constantly needing proof before trusting yourself. You're ignoring your intuition. You're becoming cynical. You think everything is meaningless. Sometimes this card can, on the shadow side of this card, could be a trying to force spiritual experiences instead of just allowing connection, right? You chase signs instead of just listening. You overanalyze. But this card is reminding you that connection is something to notice, not something to manufacture, okay? Anima Mundi brings gifts like intuition, compassion, creativity, inner wisdom, trust, synchronicity, interconnectedness, and healing. So people guided by this archetype often become healers or artists, teachers, counselors, caretakers, spiritual guides, not necessarily as professions, but as ways of being. Okay? You're entering, or you may already be in a period where your intuition matters more than logic alone. And for me personally, this is a great card to get because there's things in my life that I can't, it's just, it doesn't make sense at all, and it's hard to make a decision on something. So I've been trying to use my intuition and trust my intuition, and I've been making decisions based on what my intuition is telling me, and it's definitely not easy because I like the facts. I want the facts. I want proof. That's what this card is saying. And I want someone else's approval or opinion. Am I doing the right thing? But Spirit is saying you don't need that. You need to trust yourself, your intuition, okay? Things may not make perfect sense yet, but patterns are forming. People may arrive unexpectedly, or old relationships may end. New interests may appear. Your inner world is becoming more important. So instead of asking what should happen, ask Spirit, what is life inviting me toward? Okay? This is one of the strongest divine feminine cards in the entire deck, okay? Not because it's specifically about women, but because it embodies traditionally feminine qualities like receptivity, intuition, nurturing, creation, emotional wisdom, connection, trust. Okay? Remember, the divine feminine doesn't force. She attracts. She listens. She receives. She creates from alignment rather than pressure. And Anima Mundi reflects this energy beautifully. You don't have to chase, okay? A lot of people believe they must constantly push life forward. Just become aligned. Become aligned with your true self. The right people, opportunities, and experiences can emerge through that alignment rather than through constant striving. Okay? Your intuition is sacred. Trust it. The divine feminine doesn't only think, she feels. And this card is encouraging you to honor your inner knowing instead of dismissing it simply because it isn't logical. And remember, nature is your teacher too, okay? Because the divine feminine is deeply connected with natural rhythms. Like flowers don't rush, the moon doesn't rush, seasons don't rush, yet everything unfolds. And Anima Mundi reminds you that your own growth has its seasons too. And know that you belong. That's very important, okay? Know that you belong. One of the deepest wounds many people carry is that they feel like they don't belong. But this card is saying that you've always belonged. You belong to the earth, to life, to creation, to the great web of existence. Nothing can truly separate you from that. And remember, your softness is strength. The divine feminine teaches that gentleness and openness can be powerful forms of courage. And Anima Mundi invites you to trust those qualities rather than seeing them as weaknesses. Okay, your softness is strength. Gentleness and openness can be powerful forms of courage. Stop searching everywhere outside yourself for confirmation of what your heart already senses. You're part of something much larger than your individual fears. Listen to the quiet wisdom within you. Spend time in nature. Pay attention to meaningful coincidences without becoming attached to them. Trust that your life has purpose. Even if you cannot yet see the whole picture, you're not separate from the world. You're one expression of its living soul. Okay? Trust your inner wisdom. Recognize the meaningful connections that already exist in your life. Okay? So that is our messages for today. Thank you so much for letting me channel these messages. Sending you lots of love and strength. Take care. Bye.